Shakies. No.
I have a list for you.
Okay.
All four of us are here. Perfect. Let me get that. I need to go to.
Is this for you? Oh, is this for you? What's two places?
I don't know what ACs and somewhere for
It's fine.
Hi guys, welcome. Paul's here.
Hey, Bob.
Welcome to the internet of my life. How are you today? How is Danny? How is Danny doing? Maybe Danny could tell them how he's doing. Because they love you. Pull up a seat, mister. Okay, hold on. I've been deep in. I'll never leave.
Who asked?
I did.
Oh.
Crashes that starter fix. Where you can't hurt him.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's fine.
I got stanchers, y'all. Paula didn't. Remember the overnight?
Yep. Shanny, what the hell? What's wrong? You're worrying me.
Who? What do you mean? Because of the title that I hate the world? I do hate the world. I want to vent about it.
Oh, this is it. This is it.
Does that come off wrong?
I don't know.
Wait, does that come off like suicidal? I didn't mean it like that. I just want to vent that I hate the world right now. I hate it.
I hate the world.
I hate the world.
4 a.m. guys? Holy cats.
Well, where are you going to get food? I just want a little something because I still finished.
Oh, I don't care. Okay, wherever.
It's your dinner. Where we go, I'll get something. I just want a little bit of something.
Well, if we go to Walmart, maybe I'll just pick up some Subway on there. Do you want a sandwich? Your standard sandwich? Turkey and ham? You want a full? No, sir.
I'll text it to you.
Just put it on the list. Put it on the list. Put it on the list. Put it on the list.
Are you talking to him for a minute?
Yes, I will. Talk to them for a minute.
Or Arby's?
No, I'm sick of Arby's, and you don't need to get all the Arby's, so I'm not going to the Arby's store.
You need to just not eat the roast beef. That's your problem.
I ordered you 2 salads. They're still sitting
No,
in there.
you need to not eat the roast beef.
Why?
Because it's gross.
What? What? You were not eating your food. I ate you from there.
Yes, I am.
The 2 salads I
No.
got you from last time are
Okay,
still in
I
there.
won't get a salad this time.
No, Subway.
But last time,
I'm
the
going to
wrap
Subway.
was really good.
And Arby's is damn expensive, dude.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, hold on. Please talk to them, please.
I'm reading the comments.
Okay, thank you.
Shanny's making me a list so that I can go out and get our stuff for this evening.
Danny, what do I mean when I say I hate the world? He'll explain it.
I believe you mean that you hate the world for the way it's treating itself and treating and people in it treating other people like crap all the time. That's what I think anyway. And yeah, that's pretty much what I believe that you think that's what that means, right? Am I close?
I'm just having a hard time like understanding it. You know, because you know how I have like a stupid little thing where I'm like, oh, I just don't understand how people can be so hurtful towards each other, because I would never do anything like that.
Right.
You would never do, I've never known anybody that would do that horrific of a thing to each other, and it's blowing my mind. And every time I turn on the news, and even if I try to avoid the news, it still pops up everywhere on social media, and you just hear something new every day. And I just am like, the world is falling apart. I don't think we're gonna make it till the end of the year. And it makes me feel gross, and it makes me not want to be here, because I don't want to be a part of a world that's so cruel. I mean, I will, I'm not leaving, but like, you know what I mean? Is there another shooting now?
No, Joseph said he had a dream about him last night.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's another one coming. But I want you guys to talk about it with me. How are you feeling right now? Let's all do like a feeling inventory of what's going on in the world, and then we can have a talk about it.
I feel
Okay.
like I should go to the store.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Do you have any other feelings?
Nope, just that one.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I love you. That's a feeling.
Do you have any advice for people who are full of hatred like me?
Have faith. Because all we really can do as human mortal beings is try and treat each other nicely and have faith that Heavenly Father knows what He's doing.
Before you go, you had this to the list too. Hold on, let me find a picture. Hi. No, don't wish you were never born, but I just wish that there were better people born in the world like us. We're good people. You're a good person. I'm a good person. And that's why we need to spread it. We need to spread this love that we have for each other and get out there and just love everyone. I hate the world right now. Stormy says, I hate the world right now. I'm trying to stay positive, but this is cruel and depressing. I agree. And like, I already get seasonal depression in the summer, and so this has not helped. Did you get all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
You want the other picture? Are you good with that?
Sure.
Sure? Okay, call me if you...
Have any questions?
Yeah. Bye. I look weird in hats.
You look cute in hats.
It's the glasses. I need glasses today. Anyway, you get seasonal depression in the summer too? Y'all, and I've always felt so weird because I've never known anybody else to get it. And then when I started YouTube, I started talking about it, and there are quite a few of you that have told me that, and I'm just like, wow. Yes, he's going to get some groceries and some Subway. Okay, I haven't read any of these comments. Hold on. And it's so hard to avoid because it's everywhere, you know, social media, it's all over. Every single time you open a social media, it's the first thing you see is something about people being people being, I just lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was gonna say. Veggie Delight from Subway. Trump is taking away a bunch of rights for people in the LGBTQ plus community. Really? Like what? I don't know. I don't pay attention to politics. We probably shouldn't even talk about it here, but it's like when you're really depressed and you're really not suicidal, but like the thoughts pop in your head once in a while. It just makes it so much worse what's going on right now, and you find something new every day that's so painful and so hard to even like fathom that it makes me sick. So that's the it's like I'll hear something and then I'll obsess over it because I'm like, I can't fathom why this is happening, and so it doesn't make sense to me. Therefore, I feel scared of it because I'm not familiar with that type of feeling, and so what do you know what I mean? Does this make sense? I don't know. Yeah, for sure. I can't win no matter what I say. If I agree on one side, I'm being racist, but if I agree on the other side, I'm part of the problem. It drives me crazy that I can't make everyone happy. I don't think anyone can make anybody happy. I feel like as long as you're a good person that loves everyone, you don't need to take a side. Everyone should be on the same side. There's no need to even worry about like which side am I going to take and who's going to get mad at me on which side. Like, just, we all need to like and get it done. Okay, the hat's not working, so we're just gonna cut off my dirty hair as usual. Don't say stuff like that, Casey. Don't do that. Oh wow, Lainey. Shanny, I filed a police report against an abuser and I bawled for about 30 minutes straight. Well, good for you for reporting it. I know how hard that is, and I know how scary that is to have to report something like that. Yeah, unify, not divide, for sure. What else? What else is bugging you today? Because maybe we could just like talk about it and talk through it and relate, validate each other, and then talk about ways to get out of those dark feelings. You know what I mean? So, what do you guys think? Hi, Sherry. We're talking about the world and how it sucks, and we're venting about it, and all of us are starting to like open up about what's bothering us the most about everything and just like talking through it. That's what this is. Well, I'm glad you stayed, Joseph, and I hope you stay forever. I'm not kidding. Joseph, Casey, whoever else. I will, if you take your life, I'm gonna kill you. Don't do it. I would be so sad. Seriously, I would be so sad. That's great, Marie. I'm losing weight in a healthier way now. Recovering from my adnos, I got up each day and had courage and worked for my solution. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. Good for you. No one can do it for you. You're strong. Look at you, Marie. Oh my goodness. I need to take minutes. I'm just like holding him here. It's really hard. So whoever's here that lives here in Utah, so Kayla's here, who else is here? I don't want to say, well, maybe we shouldn't get into this. I feel that not just Utah, a lot of people are being unbelievably hypocritical. And it makes me feel like the world is fake. What's the word I'm looking for? Not fake. Hold on. Hold that too. I guess for me, it's like I'm not a logical person usually, but I do follow my heart and I listen to my heart, and so it makes me really angry when I see people in my life, whether online or in real life, saying really ignorant things or acting in an ignorant way, and knowing that if I speak up, which I've been trying to do, I'll get knocked down, which I have been. And that's really frustrating because I'm like, isn't the bottom line love? Like, isn't that we should all, we're all working toward that. We're all working toward peace, right? But we have all these different opinions of how to do it. And really, if we would just like open our hearts and open our eyes just a little and see the good in everyone and try and make it work instead of competing for power and money and fame and all the things. I don't know. But that's never going to happen because it's a really big world and I don't think that will happen. And so that's why I start to feel like it makes me feel anxiety because I know it's not going to be resolved. Why am I going to cry? Because I know it's not going to get fixed. At least not on our lifetime, but I guess we can start getting it going for the next generation, I guess. I don't know. It's just sad and gross and I agree, Hayden. It's so frustrating because people like that have a hard time changing their minds. Yeah, they do, and they won't. I've got people that I talk to online and in my real life that will not change their opinions. That's just how they are, and they feel entitled to it. And so it's like I know that it's not even worth the fight, even though I have tried fighting it. What it does to me is just knocks me down more in those cases, because those people are so hard for me to understand, and so I have to kind of avoid it with certain people in my life on the internet and in my real life. A couple people. I really just hope something big changes and people figure out they're working towards self-destruction right now. Exactly. So close to just walking out here. Well, I'm glad you stayed. You're doing great, girl. Do not give up. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you'll get there. True. Right, Kayla. I agree with that. The hard thing for us to understand is that everyone has their own agency, and unfortunately, there are people who use their agency for evil. We have agency and can choose to use our agency for good. Is it bad to start crying? Not at all. I'm a terrible example of this, but like, if you need to cry, cry. When I start to cry and I'm on camera, or I'm in front of anybody besides Danny and my mom, maybe. Sometimes other people, but really mainly that. I swallow it back down unless I'm talking to Danny or my mom. But don't do what I do. Don't do it. Get out of that habit if you have that habit. You need to cry if you need to cry, you know? The evil does outnumber the good. I agree. I so agree. I think this world is going to get even more sinister, so it's important to channel in on the little things and the people with beautiful hearts. I agree. The one thing I want is for my nephews to be able to succeed and live in a world that isn't revolving around violence. To hear my youngest nephews to say, "I'm watching out for looters," heartbreaking. How old is your nephew? He said that? Oh. The fact that little kids even have to think about that, wow. Next time you see him, snickerdoodle, give him a big hug for me, please. Wow. Yeah, Casey, I'm the same way. What is worse, 1,000 wasted days or 1,001 wasted days? Seriously, it's never too late to begin pot. Okay, what? What is worse, 1,000 wasted days or 1,001 wasted days? Seriously, it's never too late. Oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, what? I'm not doing math right now. I don't feel like that. But you're right. It's like you can start anytime, always. There's no rule. She's totally right. Like, we haven't missed the train. We can still start to do better and appreciate better things in the world and give the better things attention as opposed to the evil things. I mean, think about all the shootings that have happened. Those people do it. The reason it got so, in my opinion, so fast and out of control is like it started with like one or two, right? Like with the whole Columbine High School thing. Is that where it started? It was one of the first ones, whatever it was. And they got so much attention from it that the next person that did it wanted to do it for attention on social media, and and then it kept getting more and more and more and more and more, and these sick people out there are like, oh my gosh, I can be famous before I kill myself. All I have to do is kill everyone else, and then I'll be famous, and then I'll kill myself. But at the same time, it's like I don't want the media to ignore that stuff, so it's just such a like, what are you supposed to do? Because I take that back, because like if the media were to ignore that and it kept happening, then I would feel terrible. But I just wonder if it would keep happening that often. I don't know. I know, right, Hayden? In Colleen's recent video, she was reading her old fan mail and crying and said something like how she forgets there are good people because the hate overpowers the good. It's so sad. So true. Why'd you have to bring her up? Now I'm actually gonna cry. I'm so weird. I am not normal. I'm not a normal human, guys. I need help. Someone fix me. As a part of the TCC, I don't know what that means, Emily. What is that? As a part of the TCC, I think it's a hard balance by acknowledging it and investigating why people do it without celebrating it or making horrific people famous. Yeah, exactly. The media should share about the lives of the people lost, not about the killers. I do agree with that too. Yeah, that would help. Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. There are good people everywhere. I'm here. Of course you are. There are a lot of good people in this world. Just right now, I feel like everything is run by hate and judgment and hypocrisy and power hungry, money hungry, attention hungry people who have fed the bad part of them to spiral and become this evil person. Like, we've all done bad things in our lives, but if you keep feeding that bad thing, that's what makes you like slowly, sometimes quickly, but slowly become like an evil person. Not just, oh, I did something bad. You get to that, why am I going up? You get to that, oh my gosh, I'm an evil person and I don't care. That's so crazy to me that anybody could get to that point. That's cute. If I marry a guy named Cole, I can name my daughter Colleen because my name's Eileen. So Colleen, cute. Do it. Whose videos, Hayden? Colleen? I binge watch her videos every day. It's not healthy. I was thinking about maybe getting brave enough and making her a video. Because when she did say that in the video, I was like, oh, I wonder if she's aware. She's not aware that there's a community online that would not be here if it weren't for her. And like right now, she's bored as crap at home all day, stuck inside. It would be the perfect time for me to either send her a letter or make her a video and tell her what she's done for our community and that she's had huge effect on my life and therefore my community and what we do. And she would probably love to hear what we do because we're so awesome. But I'm just like so scared to do it. I wish I could cry about everything, seriously. But everything that's happening really shows the bad people, but also shows the good people. That's true. That is true. I am freezing cold. Hold on. Be right back, guys. Have I been painting again? No. But I cleaned up my workspace. Pretty proud. You can see it all. I cleaned it really good so that I could paint again. I still haven't. It's been like a week since I cleaned it and I still haven't painted. So I don't know what the deal is. I'm not sure what's up with that. You're not a crybaby, Dee Dee. I mean, you cry, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not with you all day, every day, but who's the most supportive person in your life? For me, it's my priest and my mom. I love that. For me, it's Danny, and then my mom, and then you guys actually come next. Yeah. Oh wow, Emily. Oh. I know, right? This truly is a historic time in this world. Never in a million years would I ever thought we all would be going through a pandemic, and now how violence has escalated. We're going through the pandemic, we're going through the Black Lives Matter, we're going through looting and shootings and straight up war. Like, why don't you ever cry when you talk to me? I need you to cry. Because I look up to you so much, even though you're freaking half my age, that maybe I'll cry. So maybe if you cry, then I will. Did you ever think of that? How come you don't think of me first? Huh? I'm just saying none of us expected for 2020. I know, right? 2020 was supposed to be our year. Remember last year when we're like, do it for Beth, do it for 2020, Beth, do it for Beth in 2020. By the way, I had a dream about Beth the other day. She's an angel. Sometimes I feel like I'm not, this is gonna sound weird, but you guys know, like, I'm sort of an intuitive person and I have real dreams. I have a feeling, and I think a lot of you would agree, that she's literally standing next to so many of you. I really do believe that. I feel like she's like, there are times where I feel like she's right there. Like if I think about her, all of a sudden I feel that she's there, like patting me on the shoulder and telling me to keep going. And then sometimes I'll see you guys struggling and I'll get this overwhelming feeling like, oh, Beth is with them right now, or Beth was with them and that's why they're still here today, or something like that. She is just so loved in our community, and I can't wait till the day I can hug her. Seriously. Could I lucid dream? That's a good question. I used to be able to. Sometimes I still can, but not usually. Growing up, I was a lucid dreamer. And it was fun because I could, every time I had a nightmare, I would wake up from my nightmare and then fall asleep and lucid dream so I could choose what it was. But over the years, as I got older, it got harder and harder to do it. And I would say maybe like once a week I can do that, but like 6 out of 7 times it feels like it's really happening and it's hard and it's scary, and yeah. But yeah, I used to be able to actually. I also used to be, what's it called? Ambidextrous? Is that what that's called? When you can write with both your right and your left hands, I think. Is that ambidextrous? Yeah, I think so. And so up until I was like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 maybe, I could write with both hands. And so like, how cool is that? Oh my gosh, that's cool. Like, and I would write like equally as good with each hand. But the older I got, the more that went away. And I'm not kidding you. Now, like the more I practice with my right, I wish I would have kept practicing, because now it's like my left hand is worthless. I'm not kidding. It has no muscle in it. It has no strength. It's very shaky. It's not balanced. This is like, I've got a strong hand over here, but over here it's like I can't even make. So if you're ambidextrous, keep practicing at it and keep writing like that. That is a cool skill to have, and I wish that I still had it, because I could do both equally good, like fluently. It's so fun. I am good at writing backwards too, but not, yeah. Trump is something else for sure. It's so hard to, there's so many things that just, man, it's so hard to talk about this because of all of our different opinions and beliefs with politics. But what I will say is that, because I think I've already said this, so I think I can say it again. Yes, thank you, Dee Dee. She read my brain. He's a pretty good president. He's not the greatest person, and that makes him look like a terrible president. And if he would just like open up his freaking heart and be kind to people, then maybe good changes could be made. But he's not. That's not happening because he's being such a dick every day. Every day. He's awful. He's terrible. He's awful. And makes me mad because I'm like, again, he's one of those people that I can't understand. I'll see him and I'll see him say things on Twitter and all over the news, and I'll just be like, are you joking? And by the way, when I say he's a good president, what I mean is he has done some good things. I'm not saying overall, but like if you look at some of the things, like the economy, he's been a pretty good president. However, I know you care about people. I know. He has done a lot for America. I totally agree. That's why this is so hard to talk about, because people only see how he acts. And I'm the same way at first, but sometimes I'll take a minute and like look into things more. It's just a hard, I think we should meet him. I don't know what to do. And saying that he's a good president or that he's done things well for America, done good things for America, doesn't mean he's a good person. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's very smart and he's very good with money and he's very good with business and stuff like that. So he's got a lot of knowledge that can help in the money aspect of our world, which is great. But like Darcy said, I would rather have him be kind than give us she said, I don't care about the economy. I would rather have a president who's kind and treats people kind. So it's such a freaking, he's totally an idiot. I agree. Exactly, Dee Dee. Just because I think he's a decent president doesn't mean I support him. And yes, he's an idiot. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I guess I meant business as in like how to run things. Does that make sense? I don't know. But for me, it's like I don't like politics, and so I literally base my opinion off of what I see and its effects, and the way that since he became president, the economy is really good. And my husband has work, and there was a time with Obama that we didn't, and things just started to get better as far as like jobs and money and stuff like that. However, he's unbelievably racist, sexist. He pretends to not be those things. He really, it's like you can, sometimes I'll watch something of his and you can tell that he's like doing damage control and trying to say something nice about gay people or black people or whatever, only to cover up something he had said like earlier that day or the day before or something. It's like, I've seen him so many times do damage control, and I'm just like, how about you control the damage before you let it out? Like, you're the president of the United States. Focus for 1 minute. Think about how your words and your actions, some of them, are going to make people feel. That's okay. It's okay if you don't like him at all for any reason. That's totally okay. Everyone's allowed to their opinion. I just, Biden sucks ass, but anyone but Trump is better. A lunatic carrot? I've never heard that before. It's really hard for me to talk about. I can see all the sides, and so that's why I have a really, really, really hard time voting. Don't hate me for that. You're gonna hate me for that. You're not. Someone out there watching and trolling is gonna hate me for that and bring it up in 5 years. I can feel it. I have a really hard time voting because I see the good in both people. So I never am able to pick a side. And so, like, even when it comes to
like the governor of Utah or things that are, you know, our city and things like that. I cannot pick a side because I see good in both people, I see bad in both people, and I see good in both people, and it's equal. So how am I supposed to vote? Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? It's your right not to vote. Yeah, but people get pissed when they hear that, which is understandable. I get it. Like, if you've got a vote to give, go vote. It's very important, but for me, I don't. I don't even know if I'm a Republican or a Democrat or even a liberal. I don't know. I'm just like, I see things for what they are and just hope and wish that some of those people would just be better people and act kinder, and that would bring a lot of good change in our country. That's true, Granny. Smart individuals don't treat women or POC as lesser people. They don't. That's true. Yeah, Derek, like what? That's what's hard. That's what's like, okay. It's so hard because, again, I come from a world of, oh my gosh, why did my brain just stop? Republicans, thank you. Everyone in my family, Danny's family, extended family, pretty much everyone I know is a Republican. So I grew up thinking that I was a Republican, and as I got older, and I never had like the guts to stand up for what things that I would see wrong, and I'm not saying Republican is wrong, I don't think that it is at all. But the older I've gotten, the more I've come to learn, okay, I don't agree with that, even though I'm being told to agree that I don't. And that's really cool that I'm starting to feel my own feelings and my own connections to it. But like, I'm not a very smart person, clearly. Look at me trying to articulate this. I'm not very smart. And so I mostly rely on results or, you know, how they act. And so for me, that's where I'm torn, because with Trump, a lot of good results have happened. But he's a dick, and I hate him. You don't hold back if you don't want to. See, and it's hard because I do want to say some things to you and respond to some of this that I disagree with. But if I do, I'm not kidding, I feel like I'll lose you. Because I feel like people will see it only as I don't know. I agree, Leanie. It's so funny to me to see the two sides fighting when they have a lot more in common than they realize. Exactly. Why do they even have to freaking... Why does there have to be sides? Maybe someday, guys. Maybe when our kids and grandkids grow up, they'll live in a world where the world is just going to figure it out and come together and try and work peacefully. That's never going to happen, but you can dream. I can dream. So, yeah, I understand that, Granny. I get that. True. He was like, what is your freaking name again? Why do I always forget this? I even watch your videos and I always forget your name. She's so funny, by the way. Go and watch. Music is a Rainbow here. She's so funny. I mean, she does music too, but like she'll do skit type videos or just like, I don't know how to explain it. She's just really clever. She's really smart and funny. Sarah. How am I going to remember that? Everyone in Utah is named Sarah. You are LDS, but you don't live in Utah. Sarah, music, Sarah. Okay, keep reminding me till I get it. I think everyone will vote Trump because they know how much good has come from him, even though he's a terrible human. Almost every president is reelected because they're comforted by knowing what's coming, because a new person is always a gamble because half the time they lie about all the stuff they plan on doing anyway. Yeah. That's politics for you. Sarah is a rainbow. Sarah with an H, it's naked without the H. I love that. Well, someone was saying earlier that they've had a bad week and that they wanted to come here for a relief of that, and so can we change the subject? But like everyone here is saying, and everyone from both sides, because there are definitely sides here right now, and that's okay. I feel like we're having a pretty mature conversation about it. Maybe we can, I don't know, I feel bad because I know some of you come here to be uplifted once a week, but sometimes when things are so overwhelming that are hard, sometimes that's all I can think about, and therefore that's all we can talk about because that's all I'm thinking about. And so it kind of helps me to talk through it. Maybe it would help you, and if not, girl, I have made thousands of videos, not really, but like over 1,200 I think videos, and a lot of them are good and positive. I don't know, or just come back in 20 minutes and see if we're still talking about it. Maybe. I don't know. Can we talk about cancel culture? Ugh! I hate cancel culture. That makes me mad. That makes me more mad than politics. That's not normal. No, you don't have to leave. I'm just saying. I feel bad. I know that you're struggling. I know. No, I'm not mad at you, Petra. I'm not mad at you at all. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's hard. Don't leave. If you feel like you can stay, you should stay. But if you can't, I'm just saying, I understand if you can't. That's okay. Come back in like 10 minutes and see if we're still talking about that. Maybe. Try that and see what happens. Where did I change my glasses? I don't know. I don't remember doing it, to be honest. Let's talk about airline food. Ugh. Ugh. Thanks, Granny. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, that probably made you so sick to type that, to say good and Trump in the same sentence. Thanks for saying that. I agree with that too. You can't base what you believe about Trump from what you hear on the news. It's twisted big time. My thing is like I said before, if he just would act like a human and not be such a dick towards people, his point would be completely understood. But nobody wants to listen to him because of how he's acting. They're taking that and turning it into, oh, that's all that he is, and we should all hate him. But it's like, we're still in America, right? Don't we still need to support whoever's president? Like, isn't that part of being an American? And like, yeah, it sucks. He sucks and he's a dickbag. But it's like, how is that going to fix anything to hate on our president of the United States? That's not, I mean, some of the things he does deserves hate though. And so, see what I mean? I'm torn. I can't even what? I'm just saying, it's like part of our law. It's in our Constitution. And like, we're supposed to support our president. No? Am I wrong? I just wish he'd stop being a dick. This is what I want to happen. I want him to teach his ways as far as the economy goes and money goes to somebody like Obama with a wonderful personality and very kind to everyone and very like connects with as many people as he can and tries to help as many people personally as he can. That's what we need. We need a mixture of that, which is never gonna happen. But that would be amazing. Would it not be amazing? Yeah. Yeah, Granny, yeah. I know, it's hard. I hate it. It's so hard. And like, I'll hear, like I was saying, every member of my family support Trump. So I often get angry. And so if it gets brought up like at a family dinner or something where we're all together talking about it and it gets brought up, I literally have to get up and leave the room. Because I understand, like I get what you guys are saying, like it's so gross. It's, how can you support somebody who's done such disgusting, despicable things? And I get that, and I see that. And I also see that the logical reason that they're supporting him, which is that he has done a lot of good as far as money goes. But like, do you see what I mean? But for me, I'm an empath, and I tend to listen to my emotions more, and so I have a hard time with it where I live. And so I don't know. I think both sides have points, and I just wish the world would be nicer. Yes, I am absolutely suggesting that Obama and Trump have a love child. Ooh, should we get that out there on the media? Should we like request that to be an option come voting time? They'll be like Biden, Trump, or the love child of Obama and Trump. Except not Trump, just Trump's knowledge, but not his personality at all. Steph's here! I'm glad you made it for a minute. This isn't a fun live stream stuff for a lot of people. I guess I just wanted to have an open conversation. We did. I like hearing people's different opinions and thoughts and feelings, because for me personally, the whole point of this live stream was to show that I don't understand the world, and I hate the world that we live in, because I can't connect with anyone. I can't connect with that side or that side. I can't connect with myself and still connect with other people in my life. It doesn't mesh well. I can't, you know what I mean? Like I don't get it. And so I hate it because it scares me. Because anything I don't understand, I get scared of. And so that throws me into a loop of like, I'm just gonna stay in my house all day, every day, and just hide forever. Because that's easier. My only gripe with Obama is pushing healthcare into law. It sucks now. Yeah, a lot of people are being affected by that now, for sure. I'm all for it, but find a way to pay for it first. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, I'll save it, Seth. Kind of heavy stuff, though. You don't mind that. Look what came in the mail. I didn't see this was sitting there. The Elizabeth Smart Story movie. I can't believe I turned down an opportunity to speak with her. I can't believe I turned down the opportunity to go to New York and be interviewed and to call back the Huffington Post and have them do a story on. I cannot believe that I passed that up, because when am I ever going to get an opportunity like that again? I wish that would all be like offered to me now with my confidence now, but back then I was just starting, and man, that would have been cool. Can you imagine? Yeah, did you not know that? Back a long time ago, and I think it was after my first viral video, The Day in the Life of a Bulimic, people started writing articles on me online, and then the Huffington Post personally messaged me, and they were like, hey, we want to do a story on you, and I was like, okay, I'll get back to you, and I never did because I was too scared. And then we got another newspaper, and I forget their name, but they were like, yeah, we want you to come to New York and do an interview, and we'll just kind of like do a little story about your channel and get the word out there. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll talk to my manager and I'll let you know. And then I never did. And then it was offered to that I speak on a panel with Elizabeth Smart, and this was before I started public speaking, so that would have been my very first day, which terrified me. But now that I've got experience, now I can be like, oh, I could have done it, and what was I thinking? So I could write a book about my life. I couldn't though, because of my family. I couldn't. I wouldn't want any of them to feel put on. I don't want any of them to feel disrespected as far as privacy goes. I do my best to not bring them on here a whole lot because of that. And I don't know, it would be hard, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Call them back. It's been 4 years. 4 years. What we do have that was sooner was when we went to speak up at Weber. The news came for Utah, and they did a piece on the conference, and apparently one of the camera ladies or producers or something went up to Danny afterwards and said, hey, are you Shanny's husband? He's like, yeah. And she gave him her card and said, we want to do a story on your wife, so please contact me. And he was like, oh, totally. And we never did. And that one, I'm not sure why we never did, because I don't know. Excuse me. Yes, Derek gets it. If you'd write a book about, like, yes, I have a crazy story. Like, a lot of us do. I've been through a lot, but it's like I would risk not just like exposing them, but like putting stuff out there that's so personal to them. That's why I can't tell you the details of that last day with my family, with my dad, and what happened. Like, you guys know the gist of it, I believe, right? But there are details, and they're awful, gruesome details, like so, that I can't share because it involves other people, and I wouldn't want them to get any kind of, I don't know, I just like to protect them as much as I can. So like when I tell you that story, I try and keep it from my point of view, and I also try and keep it really vague, and I wish I could tell more of it, because that would be probably a deeper story to tell when I go do public speaking. It's a big part of me, and it's a big part of why I am the way I am and what happened. But it's like, it's so hard. It's hard making the decision of what to put on the internet and what not. How long have I been live? I've been live for an hour, actually, exactly. And I don't know, maybe half an hour more? I don't know. Why? Danny's here. Let's not get into it with. Hi. Hi, one.
Well, there's only 4 to choose from, so I hope so.
At Macy's?
Yeah.
Did you get the pre-cut?
Yeah. It's got berries in it though. We can have some option there. And we have to add some of our own stuff to the sandwiches because they were completely out of stuff.
What are they out of?
Tomatoes, pickles.
Did you get tomatoes?
Yes, and pickles.
Okay.
And I got some stuff at the store to make for later. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Derek, I think you're my long-lost twin brother. I'm not joking. I love Derek. He knows. He's like, I know.
Who?
We all know.
Who?
Derek.
Garrett?
Derek.
Oh, Garrett, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, our Derek or this Derek?
This Derek. The one from the conference.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you for saying shit.
Shit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying shit.
That's a good one. Good job.
Okay. You want it now? You want me to put it there?
Mm-hmm. No, you can put it in there.
Okay.
We got into politics, which probably wasn't smart.
Oh dear.
So,
Count me out.
wait, what, Kylie? Hold on. What did I miss? I love how respectful everyone's being. Stating their opinions, but respectfully. That's what needs to happen. Agree to disagree about what? Wait, Kylie, what did I miss? What are you talking about? But Derek, the other thing is like my siblings and my mom. So like this traumatic thing that happened really affected them, and their stories are honestly, compared to mine, 3 times harder, because they had their details of that story that happened to them that are just unimaginable. And if it was that hard for me, knowing that they went through even more than I did, ugh. I know, Danny ran away. Sherry is my grandma, not literally, but same as Victor has an abusive husband. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so what I can tell you is that on the last day that my family was together, my dad, who at the time was, what are the words?
Abusive, not himself, the devil.
Abusive, a different person, a different, yeah, the devil. Like
I mean, he was obviously probably high on drugs of some sort.
I'm not kidding, I think he was possessed or something. Like he was such a different person. But basically what happened was, trying to remember, like, make sure I don't tell, because I probably shouldn't tell Michelle's part, right?
You just tell your part. Or about everybody else's.
I remember Michelle's were.
I know. Yeah. No, I wouldn't tell that part. Tell you just tell your experience of it.
Yeah, so basically, my dad, who had a lot of mental issues, health issues,
Which is no excuse,
but
it's
mostly,
just
yeah,
a
addictions.
product of what happened.
Addictions. He had some definite psychoticness in him, for sure. And basically, can I tell the story, or do I just sum it up like I did last night?
It's your story. You
Remember how
told it
last time
100
I was
times
like, I
before.
know, but whenever I tell it, all I say is, it has to do with this and this and this and this.
Look, what's your energy right now? Can you handle this?
No, it has to do with a lot of guns, a lot of suicide attempts and threats, lots of SWAT team members taping off our neighborhood, hostage situation, and tons of abuse, and finding like guns buried in the backyard, and each of us getting
Only tell what you can handle right now.
well, I thought I could till I started talking.
Then end it. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Move on.
Because why am I gonna cry?
Why are you gonna cry?
I don't know.
Don't cry. It's okay.
It's like the worst day of
Cry,
my life.
shit.
It was the worst day of my life, actually.
It's a pretty bad day. I can't imagine. That'd be the best second sandwich ever because we're doing our own thing. Just sum it up like that. That was the worst day of my life.
Did he go to prison? So later, when did he go to prison?
Right before
We got married, so
Yeah.
17, 18. So that last day, I was 13 years old, just about to turn 14, and I should include this part. This is the best part of the whole story. Actually, I'll come back to that. Hold on. Okay. So, okay, hold on, Derek, don't leave. You need to hear this part. It's really cool. Did he go to prison? So later he did. So he got remarried. My mom got remarried, and he got remarried, and he abused his stepkids in bad ways. And he was put on the registered sex offenders list for what he had done to them, not us, or not me. I can only speak for myself. And he went to prison because they found, apparently it had to do with prostitutes and finding drugs or something, like him, I don't know exactly, maybe selling, I don't know, who knows. And he went to prison for, how long was he there, do you think?
Barely a year.
Maybe a year,
Maybe a year.
maybe.
He was supposed to go away for longer, but he was good.
Yeah, he was on good behavior, so he got out pretty quickly. And the same thing happened that day, by the way. So how that ended that day, by the way, Danny like went to prison to ask
Whoa,
my dad.
Okay.
They know this. I told
You gotta
them.
say that differently. I didn't go to prison. I
No,
went
he-
to
okay,
the prison.
He went to the because like
Judas.
at the time I didn't have all my memories with my dad, the really bad stuff. And as a little girl, and I was 19 when we got engaged, and as a little girl, you're like, no, you have to have my dad's permission. So he went to my stepdad, Rob, and he went to prison. We went
to
the prison,
Quit saying it wrong, or people can get
and Danny literally asked him through like the plate glass.
Best day of my life.
But it's what made me fall even more in love with you, that you were willing, because he knew it was important to me at the time. He knew that I wanted that since I was a little girl. And so, man, and he hates my dad, or he did at the time, because of everything my dad did to me. And so for him to, I don't know, you're the cutest. Why are you so cute?
I love you.
And anyway, that's our romantic story. My husband went to the prison to ask for my hand in marriage. Anyway, so my dad's a sweet talker, right? So after this whole thing happened that day, he finally, what happened was he finally was in custody somehow. That's kind of a long story. They finally got him in custody. That's when they found all the guns buried in the backyard, and that's when they found whatever. And like, I even went back to the house after he left, because we had left the house. We were at my sister's apartment the whole day while it was happening. So he was home alone at our house, and that's when the SWAT team taped everything off, and it was like this big, huge ordeal of a hostage suicide type thing. And after they arrested him, I went back to the house, and it was kind of crazy. Like, I saw smashed, like the phone was smashed up against the fireplace, and like the chairs were knocked over, some of them were broken, there were holes in the wall. Like, you could tell that he had had some sort of violent rage. And we went home once we knew he was in custody. We went home and stayed home. And then the very next morning, like super early in the morning, my grandma, my mom's mom, who had absolutely no idea what had happened the day before. We didn't tell her yet because she stresses. Grandma just is the most protective human on earth, and she would have murdered my dad that day. So like and we were exhausted by the time we got back home. It was like 1 a.m. So we didn't get a chance to tell her everything. The next morning, she had no idea. She showed up at her front door, and she said, "I don't know why I'm here." And we're like, "Okay." And she's like, "But you need to pack a bag and come with me." And we're like, "Okay." And she had no idea what had happened. So we did. We listened to her. We packed a bag. She took us to her home. And apparently after we left, I think it was 10 minutes maybe? Yeah, like 10 minutes after we left, my dad came home. And because he was released because he's a smooth talker and he's very charismatic.
Sweet talked his way out of
he knows how to sweet talk his
prison,
way. He's
basically.
a master manipulator. And so if my grandma hadn't have come and gotten us and he came home and it was just 10 minutes apart, I don't think all of us would be alive. I really don't. I don't think all of us would be dead, but I don't think all of us would have been alive. Isn't that crazy? I love my grandma. Sorry.
For what? Be sorry.
Anyway.
Sorry, babe. You're fine. I'm fine.
I know, right, Derek?
I'm gonna go eat.
She literally was like, yeah. She was literally like, "I don't know why I'm here. Spirit told me to come, but I don't know why." We're like, okay. And she's always been so connected to that, and so we did. Like, I remember even grabbing a suitcase, and we left within like 5 minutes. She was like, "I don't know why, we need to leave like right now." And then 10 minutes later he comes home. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, mother's intuition. Yep. I don't know. But yeah, he basically was I don't know. Yeah, and it was hard for me because I think the hardest part, sorry, I'm just like getting into it now. I think the hardest part for me was that I was the baby of the family. So like my parents, then Angela's the oldest, Michelle, Mike, and me. And I was 13 when it happened. And I remember the worst part, oh my gosh, I so want to talk about this and it's just not gonna work because I swallowed my tears. Hold on. Don't swallow, just let it out, dumbass. Anyway, the worst part for me, honestly, was hearing, so like there was a point, wait, can I tell that part? Hold on. The hardest part for me, I guess, was the pain that I witnessed in other people and the pain that was done towards other people by him, I guess. That was the hardest part for me, was to hear and see what he did to certain family members and what he said to them, and to see the aftermath of it and to watch them cry and bawl their eyes out all night long. I think that was actually the hardest part, honestly, because I'm very protective of my family, and that was the hardest thing, especially with my mom. Like, it was the hardest thing to see my mom go through it. Can you imagine, like, the pressure she had on her, because she still had 3 minors? 2 minors? How old was Michelle? Yeah, she still had 3 minors, and one of them was 13 years old, and to have to deal with what she was dealing with my dad, and being on the phone with him all night, and him saying things to her, and hearing her cry, and him threatening and doing, and like I guess I can tell that part because I heard it. But okay, here's what I'll do. One of my siblings, I have 3 siblings. So I'm just not going to tell you which one. How about that? One of my siblings was, they locked me out of the bathroom. My mom was on the bathroom floor screaming and crying, and they wouldn't let me come in, so I just listened for hours. And at one point, a sibling that was in there with her took the phone and after hours of listening, I heard my sibling take the phone and start saying, "Don't do it, don't shoot, please don't do it, please don't do it, put the gun down, put the gun down." And so at that point, I just broke open the door because I was like, I'm not gonna ignore this. Like, I get to be involved too, it's my dad too, it's my family. So by then I could hear him on the other line as well. And he literally put the gun to his head and he cocked it. He like made the little, or at least that's what he said. He said, "I've got a gun to my head. Unless you come home right now, I'm gonna kill myself." And you heard the little thing. And to see like what that did to each one of us in different ways, I'll never forget that feeling. And I'll never forget the pain in my mother's eyes and the pain in my sibling's eyes, the one that was talking to him. And knowing that that sibling was literally talking him down because my mom couldn't do it anymore. And my mom is the strongest woman I know. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about that stuff. I'm just, okay, I witnessed that, so I feel like I can talk about it, but still, I want to be sensitive. I know it's hard. And then something happened where he I wasn't there, so I'll just like keep it vague, but he pulled a gun to one of my siblings, and that sibling basically kind of like yeah. I'm totally fine talking about it. I'm just worried about my family, so I'm trying to keep it vague. Yeah. Here's what I'll do. The sibling I'm talking about, the one that was on the phone, the one that had a gun pulled to their face, I'm going to talk to that sibling because I have a feeling maybe that sibling would talk to you guys about it. So maybe we'll do like story time and share it because so many wonderful miracles happened that day that I want to share. Like, there's a reason that I believe in God so strongly. There were so many different things that happened that we should have been dead. and we weren't. And I want to share that. Like, I want to share the good things that came out of it and the way that it actually saved all of our lives, even though it was the worst day in my life and in everybody in our family's lives. Every single one of us, if you ask what was the worst day of your life, every single one will say that. I mean, there was a point where I saw him while it was happening. I went home to get something with my brother, and this is before he started like threatening and stuff, but he was obviously on a really big rampage and like awful. And I remember walking by his office thinking he wasn't in there because we were told he'd stay in the basement while we came over to grab some stuff. And I walk by the office and I look in and he's there, and he gave me this look. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. His eyes were red. Like, he wasn't even himself. I swear he was possessed, or I didn't even know who it was. I was like, I literally felt like I was looking in the eyes of like a monster, and I just had to be like, whoa, that's my dad. Where is dad? What's going on? Like, what happened? Because I was still really young, and all I had known is hearing things he would say to my mom and other people and to me, and also having all the memories that are good and so many good times that I had with him. It was the most confusing moment of my life because I looked in his eyes and I'm like, wait, you're my dad, but you're not. Who are you? Like, it was horrifying. We had to leave. We didn't even get what we needed. We just left because it was so bizarre. So it's like, I'm not excusing what he did, but I know that he was possessed or something. Like, the devil had taken over him, and I'll never forget that look. And so maybe that's why I'm so sensitive when I see people in the world that are evil or do evil things or act act evil. It angers me because and I can see the good in everybody. Maybe this is why, because I grew up with a dad who half the time he was funny, caring, loving, so sweet, and then the other half of the time he was a complete monster that I don't even know if he was himself. Like, that's how bad. And so maybe I grew up seeing that and maybe that's now why I'm like, well, I can see the good in everybody because everybody has good in them because I grew up like that. I grew up seeing an honestly honest, beautiful, good man who was also evil and a monster. And so when I think about people like Trump or anyone who's a dick, I'm just like, there's got to be goodness inside of them, because as time went on, my dad got worse and worse. But when I was first born, he was a lot different, and it just started like slowly progressing. So it's like, I believe that my dad was born perfect, and I believe that he had a rough childhood and got in with the wrong things, and it led him there very slowly, but slowly he got there. And so for me, I'm like, all I can still see though is that, oh, he was a perfect baby one time. So I feel for him, which I know is not, doesn't make, I know that doesn't make sense. Like, I know that's hard to understand, but it's like, I'm not reading any of these comments. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go back and read a little bit. Anyway, well, thanks. I mean, yes, Darcy, I did. Darcy's was asking if you told Danny about your reconnection. Yes, I did. But the other stuff, I'm going to talk to my sibling, because I have a feeling that sibling would talk about it in a video, because that particular sibling was, you know, her stories are just, and I want you to see, oh, I just said it was a girl, whoops. I want you to see, like, how strong she is and how good of a mom she is, and that you can come out of something like what she came out of and what she survived. Like for me, it was scary. For her, it was probably the most terrifying thing in the entire world ever. And she's my hero. She always has been. Yeah, someone with malicious intentions will always be able to get access to a gun, whether legal or not. I agree with that. Because it's like a fight we're having, because I agree with you. It is our right to have guns to protect ourselves from these people. I agree. And I used to not think about that because it's shocking how he had to keep upping the ante to get you guys feeling like it wasn't his fault. Right? Let me guess, you grew up with a manipulative, narcissistic parent or abuse? I agree, and I used to hate guns. I hated guns because of my dad. I hated guns. But when the scary stuff started happening, like all the shootings, and now, especially right now, what's going on, I am so grateful that we have a gun. I am. And if nobody agrees, that's okay. But man, I feel so much safer knowing that if someone breaks into my house and tries to loot my house or tries to rape me or anything, I've got a gun that I can reach for and shoot them and kill them, because I would. Sadly, it's just the world we live in. I don't like guns. I don't love guns, but I'm grateful for them because of the world we live in. And that's just how it is. Yeah, the powerful guns. I get what you're saying there. I don't know. Yeah, if there's a war, there's gonna be no self-defense. Yeah, this is how. Yeah, the gunshot alone could scare them. But I've told you this story a few times, but like when Danny went out of town and someone broke into our home, my gun wasn't under my bed. And so it was like 3 a.m, and I had come out and looked down my stairs right there, and this door, which is the balcony door, was open, wide open. And I freaked out because I knew I had triple checked it because Danny was out of town and I'm paranoid. And so, so I called him. He was out of town for work, and I called him and I said, "Where's the gun? It's not under my bed." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I took it out to clean it, and then I forgot to put it back before I left. I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Well, someone's breaking in now." So I was so like frustrated. He's like, "Well, call the police." So of course, hung up, called the police. The lady, actually I called Alicia first, and then I called the police, and Alicia was kind of just on the other line waiting, and she was I'm so happy to have her support that night. Oh my gosh, it was terrifying. So we called the police, told them my address. I told them that I told them what I do. I said I have a pretty large community, and there are a lot of them that hate me right now and that have said awful, scary things to me, and so I'm kind of afraid. So they came, and I was on the phone with the dispatch lady until they got there, and she was like, or no, I said to her, I said, "Do you need me to go and open the garage for them, or do I need to give them the code so they can get down into my house?" Because this is the second floor. We have 3 floors. My bedroom's upstairs. Look down the stairs here. I don't know if that's showing you. To the door. And I triple checked everything because that's how it was. And so I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, "Yeah, do you need?" Right when they got here, she's like, "Okay, they've arrived at your house and they're checking out the outside." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Do they want the code for my garage so they can get in?" And she said, "Let me ask them." So she asked them. She came back and she's like, "They got in easily." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because the bottom front door was open too." What? Like it was wide open. Same with this one. So later, what was scary is we came down, and on this counter right here, I had left my debit card right there, and it was still there after. So even the cops were like, "Yeah, someone wasn't after money. They weren't after robbing you. They were definitely after trying to hurt you. So it was one of the scariest experiences of my life, but the cops that came were awesome. I almost got shot though because I'm so stupid, but live and learn. Do what they tell you to do. Do not. Okay, here's what happened. The lady was like, okay, go and stay in your bathroom, lock yourself in your bathroom until the cops get up there. And I was like, okay, I will. The cops came up, but it was kind of a misunderstanding. She didn't really tell me that they were there yet. And so I heard a noise and I'm like, what is that? And so I went to peek out my bathroom and to a gun at my face and a cop being like, oh, holy shit, you scared the shit out of me. And I was like, you scared the shit out of me. And like, I just started sobbing and like ran to his arms and just hugged him and held him. Told him how terrified I was. And so they're like, hey, go back in the bathroom while we check the rest of your house. So they did. So they just think that somebody most likely climbed up because there's like fences and railings out here on the balcony. They think someone climbed up the balcony, broke in, came and maybe heard me coming from upstairs and got scared and ran out and ran downstairs and went out the bottom front door. But if the cops hadn't have been available and that person had come up to my room, all I remember thinking is, I've never wanted a gun more. I've never wanted a gun more. And sadly, that's just the world we live in right now. I don't like it, but it's like, that's the world we live in. And not even that, like other things. Like people are going crazy out there right now. This happened, I want to say, that's a good question. 2 years ago, I think. Maybe, I think it was about 2 years ago. You remember, Ari? Do you remember when it was? I feel like it was around 2 years ago. I don't know. Steph, are you here? She would know. She knows everything. 2000, see? Oh, I love that you said that right the second I was done saying that. 2018, so 2 years ago. It was crazy. And I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful that I'm okay, but if the police hadn't come so quickly and that person was still in my house, who knows? Like, clearly they were coming to either scare me or hurt me because they didn't take the debit card, which is right here on the counter. That's the first thing they would have seen when they walk in from the door is this counter right here. Well, this counter right here is the first thing they would see. And it was sitting right there on the corner and they didn't take it. And even if they did get spooked by me and so they ran out and went downstairs, which is what they think happened, it would take half a second to just grab the card on the way. Like, it's clear that that's not what they were here for. So you gotta just, it sucks, but year and a half ago you were pregnant. Okay, that's good, thank you. So, I hate it. I hate guns too. I get it, but it's like, that's the world we're living in. And Danny's made a lot of good points. Like, you know, we could get rid of, and I agree that gun control needs to be stricter for sure. Like, they need to do more mental evaluations before giving people guns. But I also, Danny's told me some scenarios that make so much sense to me that I'm like, oh, okay. So like he said, as an example, he was like, a teacher could, a teacher full of like young kids in the classroom, say a really strong guy breaks into that classroom and kills everybody else and goes into the classroom and he only has a knife on him. He's twice the teacher's size and he's 4 times the kid's size. So what's gonna happen? He's immediately gonna kill the teacher first with a knife. When everyone has knives, every person in the world has access to knives. And he could slit her throat, kill her right away, and then overpower all the children and kill them. So it's like, sometimes, even if guns were gone, these crazy psycho people will still find a way to murder because that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? It's hard, and I know that sucks, but it's just the reality of it. But I do agree that they need to do better mental, And like the fact that they unburied, I think it was 13 guns in our backyard, along with like skeletons of pets that had gone missing. But we don't know though for sure, so I shouldn't have said that. We don't know if it was our pets or if it was there before we got there, but it just felt weird. Yeah, it's a scary world that we're living in. I hate it. We have less of that because we don't have guns. I understand. But like here in America is what I'm saying, it's falling apart. Me too. I'd rather be shot than stabbed. I'm sorry. I would much rather, you would die right away, most likely. I wouldn't want to be stabbed over and over and over. What a shitty world we live in, guys. But it's the reality. It's our reality. So you have to protect ourselves. You have to protect your family, whatever that entails. And I can tell you, if the police hadn't got here and I'd had my gun upstairs and that person came up to hurt me, I would have been able to shoot them because I would have had enough time, because I came out, we think, right when they came in and freaked him out and went downstairs. But if I hadn't come out, he might have come up to my bedroom and I would hear it because I've memorized the creaks in every part of my floors, because I do that because I'm paranoid. I do that with all the houses I've ever lived in. I would have heard it. I would have been able to lock my door, pull out my shotgun from under my bed, unlock it, and load it and be ready. So if the police hadn't come, that might have been, I might have died or been hurt or raped or something. So I'm grateful that they came. But like I'm saying, if they couldn't have come, a gun would have been the next best thing, and probably the first best. I still would have grabbed a gun and called the police. I would have done both. Oh, Granny. Oh, when I was about 7, I told my mother I wanted to die by being shot in the head. She was horrified, LOL. I just thought it would be quick. Oh, you and your poor little sweet nugget brain. Oh, you adorable. Wait, that sounded really rude. I didn't mean you have like a small brain. I meant you poor like little muffin, like as a little girl. Because I call people like, oh, you little muffin, or you little... Anyway, you know what I meant. You know me. I don't know. Yes, Jen. It's the reality in many US states, not necessarily in other countries. Exactly. Canada has way more gun lives and we have way less shootings, even when taking population differences into account. Yeah, like people have told me that so many times, like, well, if we're from a different country and our country doesn't allow guns at all, and so that's why we don't get shootings. That's great that you live in a country like that, but we don't. We live in a country that's run by greed and power and sex and money and pure psychopaths that will do anything. Okay, let's take away our guns. You know what they're gonna do instead of mass shootings? They're gonna build themselves a bomb, and go bomb a bunch of people, which they've already done that too. Taking away the gun wouldn't solve the problem forever. These people are crazy, and they would. You can find on the internet how to make a bomb. Like a deadly, could kill thousands of people at the same time bomb. Like, yeah, we could get rid of guns, but we're not taking away the chance of being shot. We're taking away our protection, and we're giving these psycho people, I don't know. And by the way, even if we took guns away, those people can still get those guns. Just because it's against the law to have guns, they'll still get them. Like, they don't care if they go to prison because they're planning on killing themselves after they murder people. They'll find a way to get those guns. They'll find a way, the ones that want to do this mass murdering thing. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you said it's against the law here too, but we don't get them. But if we were to do that, say we said it was against the law to have guns, period, those psychotic people would travel to other countries, or they would learn how to build their own gun, or build their own bomb or something. They would find a replacement, because all they have in them is like murder in their souls. And if the guns are taken away, it might slow it down a little, but there are still people out there that are just psychotic enough that will find a way to get a gun or to make a bomb, especially the bomb thing. Well, every country has evil in it. Okay. But why only America? Why don't bad people here do that? That's a good question. That's what I'm saying though. Severe gun control until it can be banned. That's a good question. That's a totally fair question. I don't know, but like the way that I've thought through it in the past and processed it is that in America, people tend to feel, just because there's so much freedom here and there's so much freedom of speech and freedom of things, that people have developed this thing where it's like, this isn't fact, this is how I feel about it. I feel like Americans know that they have it easier than other countries, and so they're a little bit lazy when it comes to, we're lazy when it comes to just lost my train of thought. Cool. Hold on. Dang it, I forgot what I was gonna say. But if you look at America, we're full of people who have, I'm pretty sure we're the #1, I need to look this up, hold on. The #1 country with mental illness is what I was gonna say. And maybe that's why it's different here. Here, I'm just gonna Google it. What country, what was the question? Oh my gosh. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna ask? Country has the most mentally ill people. US is among most depressed countries in the world. Okay, so the US is third to overall depression, anxiety, alcohol, and drug use, and then they cut off the other thing. Crap. We're third to China and India. So and I don't even see the UK on here. I don't see Australia on here. It's not even on the list. But I know that's wrong though, because like half of my viewers are from the UK. So I believe they've got it over there too. I'm just saying that, I don't know. Bottom line too is we as Americans have a very deep-rooted love of hunting, etc. I love my guns. I'd be so sorry, so angry if someone took them, if they took them. Yeah, for sure. You don't want a gun, that's fine. Don't have a gun. That's okay. But maybe just like stop and think why some people do have guns. For me, it's not because I love guns or like them at all. Danny likes guns. He loves shooting guns. He's a guy, and it's exciting to him. He wouldn't kill anybody or anything, but like it's exciting to shoot a gun. But for me, I hate guns, but I'm grateful for it because it's made me feel comfort in some really scary times. Oh, I love you too, Ari. We all have so much going on. I'm glad we can talk about this maturely and share our opinions and sides and try and make it one, not just sides, but like bring our stuff together. I'm seeing a lot of that in the comments here of like, oh, I understand where you're coming from, here's how I feel, and vice versa. And to me, that's what the world needs more of, is people deciding to try and hear everyone, not just people of their party or people of their whatever. So good job, guys. Yeah, Emily, for sure. Me too, Shanny. I think discussing things is good. And I OFC, of course. I of course respect yours and everyone's opinion. Thank you, I appreciate that. And so do I. That's what I try to do anyway, always. Wow, okay. Well, should I sing something so that we can end this on a lighter note, or what should we do? I don't want to end it the way it is right now. Is it frozen? Yes. Okay. Really, Darcy? Aw. Well, thank you to everybody. I seriously respect every single person here and your opinions, and I agree with so much, and I disagree, and that's okay. But like, you guys know me. As long as we are giving as much love as we can in the world and running our lives through love, you can't lose. You can't lose. No one will ever be able to fight against the power of love. So choose love. Yeah. I'm gonna look through my music and see, so I'm not singing the same things over and over. I'm gonna see what songs I have, because that might spark something I can sing for you guys. How do I do this? Where am I going? Okay. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Families can be together forever. I'll sing that while I look for other songs. I have a family here on earth. They are so good to me. I want to share my life with them through all eternity. I should have warmed up. Wow. Families can be together forever. Through heavenly fall. I need the every hour. That's a good one. Want to be with my family. Come on. While I'm in my arms, I'll prepare this ground, so I'm the Mary I know none of you know that song, so that's why I'm looking for another one. Sound of Silence? Have you ever done that? What else? Come a Little Closer, Skyscraper. I just did that one. Out Loud? Did I ever do that? Gabby's song, Out Loud? That's a good one. Yeah, Sound of Silence is dark. You're right. Totally. You know what? We're going to keep it simple and do ones that I've done, and that's okay. So feel free to leave if you want, because I'm just gonna sing a few that I like to sing the most right now, and then I'm gonna go. So if that doesn't interest you, if you've heard me sing these songs millions of times, that's okay. I understand if you want to leave. So let's do that. So let's start with maybe a Million Dreams. Waving through a window. I'm trying to learn the music from that. I've learned the big song. What's it called? What crap is it called? Oh, Hayden. Here it is. I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting for me that I call my own. Can you hear me over the music or vice versa? Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. Is it good? 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head, a million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. That's such a good song. Brilliant. There's a house we could build. I need some water every room inside here. Good things from far. Special things. No, don't break down. Smile. You smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to the world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. You may be right, you may be wrong, but say that you'll bring me along to the world you see, to the world I close my eyes to see, close my eyes to see. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, brightest colors fill my head, million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. gonna sing one more and then we're gonna go. And Danny's gonna come play. Can you come play this last song for me? What?
It sounded like you passed out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's like several bumps.
I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. I was trying to kick for you.
Oh.
Can you play something for me real quick to end on?
What do you mean?
This song.
Yeah.
Which one is my key? I forget.
You like what you
Oh. Whose birthday is it? It's my birthday and the sun is shining perfect. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hannah. I love you so much. And thank you for being part of the community. I couldn't concentrate for a second because Danny was playing in the background. It was throwing me off, but that's okay because he's really cute and you're really cute. I hope you have the best birthday ever because you deserve it. And I hope you can eat some cake and have some fun. I hope someone spoils you rotten. And just know that I love you and we love you. And thank you for being part of our community. And I love you so much forever and ever. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Hannah. Okay. We're gonna end on this and then go, okay? Imagine there's no heaven. Getting emotional, it's fine. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. You know what we should do? Start over. You sing the chorus or the verse, and I'll sing that and the chorus. So you're just gonna do
Wait, how'd I get roped into this?
because it's better. So I'll tap you when it's your time. So just yeah. Because you have a beautiful voice.
Not now. So what am I doing?
You're doing the first. You're doing the verses basically.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky.
Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too.
Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer. I'm too emotional to sing this right now. Never mind, I can't.
You got it.
Can't. Not the only one. I can't do it. Sorry. You sing. I can't do this.
You may say I'm a dreamer. I do the words. But I'm not the only one. And I just lost my place.
And I hope.
And I hope. What? Oh,
I'll
and I hope and the world will be as one.
Here, I'll take it first now.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can.
Got it.
No need for greed or hunger.
I can't. I'm too emotional.
Brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
What's going on with you, little Miss Emotional?
I'm sensitive lately. All right. Well, thanks guys for hanging out, and we're gonna go to bed so we can have a movie morning and a nice Sunday. And see you guys tomorrow on Instagram. The next video you'll be seeing on YouTube will come out on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm hoping, maybe even Monday. We'll see, but soon in the next few days. So watch for that. Go follow me on Instagram, educating_Shanny, because I go live there every night around the same time as I went live tonight. So if you're interested, go do that. And we love you, and thanks for having a mature and great, awesome conversation. I'm so glad that we had all this conversation. And I love you guys. Hang in there. Keep fighting. Do not give up. Hang in there, not literally. And also, remember forever and always that you are beautiful.
You're worth it.
I am too. Love you guys. Good night.